Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. My name is Thomas Bailey. Alongside me, Kevin McDermott, John LaScala, and Ali Wilson. As today will be one of our last shows of the semester. Thank you so much for tuning in with us once again. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of different things, the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, and the MLB season as a whole so far. And we'll leave you in suspense for a last segment that we'll get to a little bit later. But first, let's start it off. Kevin, 33 points, 6 first-half threes from Buddy Hield. I thought you were talking about, Steph Curry or something for this Warriors-Rockets game. What are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, Buddy Hield, we've known since
he's a volume shooter, was a volume shooter at Oklahoma, so I'm not surprised that he's found his footing in a three-heavy offense like the Warriors. Certainly saw that last night, closing out the series against the Houston Rockets in 7 games.
Yeah, I really thought it was a fun game. On the other side, though, Alperen Sengun with 21 points and 14 rebounds, a double-double.
Had 24 points. Ali, what can you tell me about this young Houston Rockets team and what they gained from this series?
We've seen it from OKC, where we got a team getting experience in the playoffs that can help them for the next season and the seasons to come. With Sengun and Thompson, we've seen Thompson was the highest scorer on his team, and it's going to give them hope for the future. They didn't really make it. They didn't make it far this year, but next year it can help them.
Yeah, as the Warriors win this series 103-89 in Game 7, they advance after nearly choking a 3-1 series lead. Not Lakers fans, I should say, but just LeBron fans should know that one pretty well. Overall, though, we'll move into the next game, Game 1, Indiana Pacers versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. John, a massive bucket game for these two teams, a 112-121 final. Pacers get the win on the road. Are the Pacers a legitimate threat to the Cavs, and can they make it back to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I think that the Pacers – I'm not going to jump the gun and say that they're going to win the series for sure, but I've felt that they're a pretty good matchup for the Cavs, and I could definitely see them winning this series. I mean, sure, the Cavs had a great year all year, and I think they do still have the best player in the series, Donovan Mitchell, but Tyrese Haliburton has been playing really good for the Pacers, and he's a guard on the other side of the ball. So I think this is I think the Pacers can match up very well against the Cavs.
Yeah, you mentioned Donovan Mitchell, 33 points in the loss as well. On the other side, Tyrese Haliburton, 22 points with 13 assists in the game. Kevin, what are your thoughts on this game between two really good players?
I mean, the Pacers are definitely
taking advantage of the opportunities they are being given. Taking advantage of no Darius Garland in the lineup currently for the Cavs. So I think when he comes back, that'll be a different dynamic that they'll have to deal with. But, I mean, this Pacers team made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year when nobody thought they could. I mean, they got a chip on their shoulder. I think it's their time. And I'm personally not a Pacer believer, but, I mean, that has not stopped them from just making history.
Yeah, very true. 36 points in the first quarter, en route to a 121-112 win in Game 1. As we kind of shift focus to the second round as a whole, the Oklahoma City Thunder sweeping the Memphis Grizzlies make it through, and they'll be taking on the Denver Nuggets, who just survived a Game 7, dominating Game 7 to say the least against the Clippers. What can you guys tell me about this series, and who do you expect to win this one as a battle between two potential MVP guys, Shea and Jokic? I'll start over here with Ali and work our way down.
We're seeing the battle of the MVPs this year. After this playoff series, they're going to name the MVP. In my opinion, I think it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But this, we're going to the Nuggets, they just lost their head coach, and then we're going to see how the experience that they have is going to balance out the scales for not the amount of experience that OKC has in the playoffs. They have yet to make it to a conference finals, but I think OKC has a very young squad with a lot of potential, and I think they can make it very far in this playoff run.
So like Ali said, the battle of the two top MVP candidates. I think SGA is going to win MVP. Maybe not because he was a better player, but the team only had 12 losses this year. I mean, you can't really take anything away from that. I would say I think that even though the Nuggets have been great with Jokic, I don't really imagine this series is going to be very close. I think OKC is probably going to take care of business, and they're a really good team top to bottom.
I mean, I will
agree with Ali and say I think whoever wins this series probably wins the MVP unless they've already decided it. But I really have confidence in Denver. They have the veteran experience. They do have the miles on them to really do it. Although they don't have the coach that led them to a championship back in 2023, they still have that experience that those players have. You know, almost their entire roster is the one they had back in 2023. OKC, I think they just got to wait one more year till they can finally reach that peak.
Yeah, shifting focus into the other Western Conference
This
matchup.
matchup, the Minnesota Timberwolves surprising everybody and taking out the Lakers in 5. And then the Golden State Warriors, who we just mentioned, won Game 7 against the Houston Rockets. I'll start again with you, Ali. Who do you think takes the series and advances to play in the Western Conference Final?
I believe Minnesota will come out on top of this just for the fact that they're young, hungry, and they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Anthony Edwards has been on a different level. Julius Randle, he's been inconsistent, but he's scoring for them pretty well. So I feel – and Rudy Gobert, yes. But I feel that they can go back to the Western Conference Finals over Golden State, as we've seen struggle with a young team like the Rockets.
Yeah, and you can take it two ways. The Warriors have the experience and the Wolves have the youth. I think it's pretty obvious over the past 2 seasons that the younger generation has began to take over in the NBA. I think the youth is going to win this one, and I think the Warriors are going to be tired from playing a 7-game series. I think the Wolves will win in maybe 6 games.
I really do think Anthony Edwards is cut from the same cloth that Kobe Bryant
And Michael Jordan was cut from. I think it'd be really tough for the Golden State Warriors to pull out a win here, but like John and Ali were saying, they do have that veteran nucleus. They have Steph Curry, and they have Jimmy Butler to add, and Draymond Green. I mean, this team can play defense top to bottom, but it will be the youth that I think will bring Minnesota over the top and over Golden State.
And Buddy
Hield apparently, but as we shift focus to the Eastern Conference here, back with the Cleveland Cavaliers Indiana Pacers series, we just mentioned that the Cavaliers lost their first playoff game of the season right now. 1-0 Pacers lead. They get games 3 and 4 at home. They have been great at home. Do the Pacers get back to the Eastern Conference Final, or will the Cavaliers finally play up to their expectations and potential? I'll start again with you, Ali.
I think after this game 2, the Cavs are going to win because game 2 is the hardest game. The Cavaliers know they have to win at home first before they go on to the Pacers home. If the Pacers keep up the momentum, as we've seen with Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton, if they keep the momentum and how they have played at home before, there could be a chance they make it out of this playoff series. But again, I'm going to have to say that I think the Cavs come out of this with Darius Garland fully healthy.
The Pacers, I think, match up really well against the Cavs. I think this is a minimum 6-game series. These teams are pretty evenly matched despite the differences in their records. I will say Indiana, I think, will win this series, but if Cleveland won, that would not be any type of a surprise to me.
I think Indiana has no problem being
That team that everyone wants to count out. I really do feel the Cavs pull this series out, but I would not be surprised at all if Indiana sneaks one in 6 games.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting
As we move into our final matchup of the second round, the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks. The Knicks not the healthiest team right now. Boston, the defending champs. Let's see if they can get it done. Real quick thoughts here, Ali.
In my opinion, I think the Celtics with Porzingis healthy, Porzingis healthy, is going to be unstoppable. They have too much length. They have too much depth coming off the bench. It's going to be a very hard team to beat, especially with the Knicks' problems that they had from last year's playoffs with injuries and basically the same type of trend this year. With Karl-Anthony Towns, though, it depends on the forwards, depending on how the forwards play. So if Cat and Porzingis goes great, I think this could be a series that goes to 7.
I don't see this series being too close. The Knicks don't win against good teams. They're the Miami Dolphins in the NBA. They're 0-4 against the Cavs, 0-4 against the Celtics, and 0-2 against the Thunder. I am going to say Boston cruises in 5.
I mean, I know we're in Buffalo, but we are still in New York. So
I'm going to have to go with the New York Knicks. I love the Knicks. I love Jalen Brunson. I love Karl-Anthony Towns. I love everything they got going. Even though this Boston Celtics team is a force to be reckoned with, I am hoping for a New York Knicks win.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
I know, but thank you guys for joining me for our NBA segment. We'll be right back with some hockey with Cal McTighe after this.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do.
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our NHL playoff segment. I'm joined by Cal McTighe. Cal, thank you for joining us here today as we're going to get things rolling here. It's been an interesting season for the Winnipeg Jets, and that's who we're going to start off with. Game 7 heroes right now. Of course, Adam Lowry comes to mind, getting the game winner in double overtime. But first, what a game. They were down 2-0 at one point. Jordan Kyrou and Matthew Joseph in the first 7.5 minutes give the Blues the lead. They just continued to dominate for most of the game. Jets look lifeless until the final 2 minutes. Back-to-back goals in the final 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Hero moments from this Winnipeg Jets team. What are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, are you kidding me? This is exactly what the NHL needed. The NHL being one of those leagues that has had a steady decline in viewership throughout the playoffs. But Winnipeg, one of those places where the crowd is just immaculate. They do the whiteout every home game. That crowd is into it. Like you said, big comeback. Everyone thinks the Blues are going to win that, knock off the President's Trophy winner. All of a sudden, 2 seconds left, they tie the game, take it to overtime, take it to double overtime, and that is where the story is finished. And Winnipeg moves on. What a heck of a game and a much-needed big-time game for the league.
Yeah, indeed. As speaking of Game 7, the other Game 7, Colorado versus Dallas, was played the day before. They will match up in the second round as we move into a little bit of a preview of round 2. Winnipeg versus Dallas. Do the President's Trophy winners continue their run, or does their luck end here?
I'm going to say the luck ends here. Mikko Rantanen getting hot at just the right time, of course, kind of playing spoiler in that Game 7 against his former team, the Colorado Avalanche. I got to take the Stars here. I think the Stars are just a little bit hotter. And the biggest problem for me is Hellebuyck, the Jets goaltender. He has been a little bit shaky throughout the playoffs. And again, he's had a monster regular season, but he's been shaky down the stretch, and especially in the playoffs. I don't know what they're going to do to fix that. You don't want to really put a backup in. I think Eric Comrie's still over there with the Jets as well. And as Sabres fans, we know that's not necessarily the move in the playoffs. So I think they have to figure it out, and hopefully Hellebuyck for them can get going. But I do have the Stars winning that game. I think the series goes 6 or 7 games, though.
Yeah, I do agree. I think that's going to be an interesting series as we shift to the other Western Conference matchup, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. Battle of the 2015 first and second overall picks, and a rematch from the series that went 6 games in favor of Vegas in 2023 when Vegas went on to win the Stanley Cup. Do you think Vegas does it again and advances to the Western Conference Final, or does Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl and company get back to the Western Conference Final?
Personally, I have Vegas winning the series in 5 to 6 games. The only reason I do say that is because Edmonton, again, like you mentioned, McDavid, Draisaitl, they have a big top line. But then you look towards the third line, towards the fourth line, they just don't have the depth that Vegas does. Vegas, I don't think they really match up well, on that top line, right? Vegas is a team that you could say has gotten worse the last couple of seasons, right? They, again, get locked into that, expansion draft where they all of a sudden had one of the best teams in hockey in the first year. And I know everyone's pretty upset about that, and they've maintained their level of success throughout the years. But the thing with Edmonton is I just don't see them continuing with this success that they've had. They had the Kings in the first round, which was a favorable matchup. The Kings, they were a high seed, but a veteran, slower, older team, not a team I expected to go too far. So I think Edmonton lucked out in the first round. I think Vegas sends them home in the second.
Very fair. As we shift to the Eastern Conference now, Toronto taking on Florida. Toronto lost in 5 games the last time these two teams played, also in the 2023 playoffs. If you take a look, though, Toronto with a chance, if they win this series, to advance back to the Eastern Conference Final for the first time since 2002 when they lost to the Hurricanes in 6. Can Toronto get over the hump with Austin Matthews in their core, or will the Florida Panthers, the defending champs, go back to the Eastern Conference Final?
Yeah, my biased opinion here says the Maple Leafs get swept here in this round. My non-biased opinion says this goes 6 games. I still have Florida winning, though. The Maple Leafs, let's be honest, like you said, they don't win these games. They do not win playoff games, and it's very rare for them to even make it out of the first round, right? You look back towards the lockout in 2005, they've only had 2 or 3 first-round wins. So that's kind of insane, the amount of times they've been to the playoffs and just haven't gotten it done. They did make it past the Ottawa Senators this year, but let's be real, a Buffalo Sabres team had a chance to take out the Ottawa Senators in the playoffs this year. That's how bad that team was down the stretch. I have a good feeling that Florida handles them pretty easily. I think Toronto wins 2 home games, but they lose in 6 games.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting series, but we move into the final series, Washington versus Carolina. This one went the distance in Game 7, double overtime in 2019. Ovechkin and the Caps looking for some revenge to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals, pardon. Ovechkin having an amazing season. Can he get it done and get to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I'm going to say no. I have Carolina winning this. I think it goes 7 games. I think this is a thrilling back and forth series. But like I've said, over and over and over again throughout this NHL season, the only way the Capitals are going to, get to the Stanley Cup Finals is if Alex Ovechkin can turn into his prime, 26-year-old self and go out there and, just light it up in this series. Now, don't get me wrong. I am shocked the Washington Capitals had such a good season. 2 seasons ago, people, all over the sports world were saying, oh, this Capitals team, they're going to crumble down just like the Penguins are going to, right? Crosby and Ovechkin, these 2 stars getting older. Once they age out, the teams are going to go, downhill. The Penguins have gone downhill, and we've seen that the last couple seasons. The Capitals have not, and it's been very impressive what they've been able to do with their younger players. But I got the Carolina Hurricanes winning this series in 7 games.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us for our NHL playoff segment. We'll be back with the MLB segment with Jake Moss and Jack Hyde right after this.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
How was school today?
Hello, everybody, and welcome.
Good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
And how's your serve coming along?
Not so good.
I think we should work on it this weekend.
Mom, Amy's birthday bash slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If...
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. My name is Thomas Bailey, as we are joined by Jack Hyde and should be Jake Moss in any moment. But beforehand, we are going to get everything rolling here. Jack, the season has been underway for a little bit now. We're about 35, 40 games in for about every team. A lot of interesting things that have gone on. Can you please give me a team that has overperformed this season thus far?
One team that honestly stood out to me is the Detroit Tigers. You know, they have 44 home runs so far. You got Spencer Fulton, who's kind of leading the charge right now. You got Riley Green, who's providing consistent offense for you guys. And, Dylan Dingler, who's becoming, a really top-tier catcher for the guys. And, you haven't really been seeing the Detroit Tigers perform lately, so it's been really nice to see that. They're over 20 wins right now, so we got to just hope they keep, hanging in there.
Yeah, a team that I'd like to mention here as we see Jake Moss finally join us in.
Phenomenal. The bullpen is getting going really early on in the season. They've played well. A couple other teams to mention here are teams like the Reds, teams like the Athletics. Jake, can you give me another one of these teams that have overperformed this far this season?
Yeah, one of my favorites is the Athletics. We've seen these teams that just don't have money just consistently be bad, and especially this year. The White Sox are doing it again. The Rockies are historically bad. But the Athletics are a team that have actually been competitive, and I think this is something they've been building recently, just kind of getting players maybe injured, maybe didn't do well in their previous spots like Luis Severino, and everyone's playing well, and especially with the call-up of Nick Kurtz and the Soderstrom explosion on offense. I think this is a team that's really catching eyes.
Yeah, shifting focus over to the underperforming side of things.
Can you guys give me a team that has underperformed this season? I'll start with you, Jack.
One team that I feel like is underperformed is New York Yankees. I mean, you can't really give it to them, but, they've just been struggling. It seems like the best baseball that's been generating is obviously out of Aaron Judge right now. He's leading RBIs, hits, and total bases. So, that being said, he's really been putting the team on his back, and we need the others to step up along to, make some performance happen.
Yeah, what about you, Jake?
Yeah, staying in the Orioles, I think, have fallen off tremendously from where they were last year. They were competing for the division lead. They had so much young talent playing so well, and now all of a sudden their pitching staff is one of the worst in the league. And not only that, we saw Kyle Gibson give another 3-peat against the Yankees. The first 3 batters he saw went yard all to right field. He gave up 5 home runs in that game, all to right field. So I think they're a team where they have the talent, but right now it's just not being put together on the field. And the only bright spot they have right now is Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, very true.
I guess we shift focus to at the end of the season. When the season is said and done, which of these teams or a different team will be the team that surprised you the most, whether that's good or whether that's bad? I'll start again with you, Jack.
One team that I've been seeing is the LA Dodgers, honestly. The first in the NL West. I don't see them slowing up. You got Shohei Ohtani, with 8 home runs and 11 RBIs so far. And, that team just runs deep. You got people like Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, the list goes on. So I really don't see those guys slowing up at all. And I just think we're going to see really good basketball out of them. Or not basketball, baseball, sorry.
Yeah, Jake?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Athletics again. I think that's a team that not only can into the wild card, but if they're hot at the end of the season, they can most definitely make a run, maybe get to the divisional series, possibly see a championship series appearance. They're a team with a lot of talent and a lot of young talent, a lot like Baltimore was built last year. So as long as they can keep their veterans healthy, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, a team that I want to mention here is the
Atlanta Braves. They have been one of those teams that have not played too well right now. They're not too terrible either. They're 15-18, very mid, but they play in a tough division with the Mets and the Phillies. I don't see them getting better. And the Nationals have kind of surprised people with a 16-19 record, even better than the Braves right now so far. So I definitely could see the Nationals being another one of those teams that just makes this Braves team look a lot worse considering the division they play in. So with that being said, though, it should be an interesting season. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for this segment, and we'll be right back with our final segment after this.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Hello, everybody. With Irie Dorsey. We are ready to go here. A huge little bit of a shift in culture. Irie, do you want to kick this one off? Let's talk about a really fun idea here with the Buffalo Bills on the big screen.
Unfortunately, Buffalo has gotten a lot of documentaries about our back-to-back Super Bowl losses, but finally we get our redemption because Hallmark is making a movie, Holiday Touchdown, a Bills love story. So that's going to be really, really exciting, and they're going to be filming right here in the city of Buffalo. So they're going to be in different areas around the city, outside of the city, and of course Highmark Stadium. So that's going to be really, really cool.
Yeah, it should be very interesting to see that as we kind of shift into the Buffalo Bisons here. The Bisons, their season's underway. They're not too great right now, sitting at a 13-18 record, 8th in the International League East. What are your thoughts on the Bison season?
Well, like I said, it's off to a rough start, a really, really rough start. But they just had a great win against the Iowa Cubs at Principal Park. And this wasn't a couple weeks ago that we're talking about. No, this was yesterday. So Bisons fans got a little bit more hope knowing that, hey, we can do it when it counts. And so during that game, the Bison's top performer was Braden Fisher, number 88. He faced 6 batters, 27 pitches, and 15 of those were strikeouts. He had 1 ground out and also 1 fly out. And so their next game will be against the St. Paul Saints. And also their next home game is going to be May 13th. And then, of course, look forward to May 31st for their annual Star Wars night.
Should be very interesting. Shift into the Highmark Stadium 2.0, as in 2026, the stadium is expected to open. So just one more season left at the now Highmark Stadium. What can you tell me about the new seating arrangement and everything else?
Well, for seating, they have a new situation called a seat license, and I didn't understand it at first. And thankfully, you helped me get some of it, and it kind of reminded me of a stock where people can buy it and they own the seat for the next 30 years. So if they want to do a season ticket, that will be the situation that they do. And they're not the only team in the NFL to do it. They're kind of late to the game. For 20 out of the 32 NFL teams have already implemented this program. And so they're seeing a lot of success with it so far. And of course, the Bills Mafia is going to make sure that they make it to the game. So I don't think that they're going to have any trouble filling up those seats at all.
Yeah, speaking of those seats, there's 60,000 seats in the stadium, and the stadium itself will be on Abbott Road, which is right across the street from Highmark Stadium. Either way, thank you, Irie, for an interesting segment. Thank you to everybody on the staff, Kevin McDermott, Jake Moss, Ali Wilson, Irie Dorsey, Jack Hyde, John Lascala, and, of course, myself, Thomas Bailey. Thank you guys so much for following us here today. I appreciate all the followers, and we all do as well. Thank you so much, and we hope that you have a great day spending it here on Buffalo Sports Insider. Until next time, I'm Thomas Bailey, and we'll see you guys next time.